Hello all my dear students, Hseb Suraj once again in front of you to help. Today I'm going to tell you about an interesting travelogue from the third chapter of the book Vistas of class 12, which is Journey to the End of the Earth. This travelogue is written by Tisani Dosi, an Indian poet, journalist and writer. This chapter has presented various facts related with our planet. The writer herself is the main narrator here in this chapter, who has told all her readers about our planet's ecology and its change. She has even related about adverse effects of ecological change on all the living beings. The title of this chapter, Journey to the End of the Earth, refers to the journey to the final part of this planet, which is the largest, coldest, driest, and windiest continent in the world, Antarctica. Antarctica continent is located in South Pole of this planet. Before starting her travelogue, the writer has recommended an important place for all her readers. According to her, if you want to know about our planet's past, present and future, Antarctica is the right place to go. The writer has presented 4 different parts of her program here in this chapter. Number 1, beginning of journey. Number 2, part of history. Number 3, human impact. Number 4, walk on the ocean. The writer begins with her journey of Antarctica. According to her, her program was called Students on Ice. That program was led by Canadian professor Geoff Crane. There were altogether 52 members in that program. According to the writer, she started her journey from Madras. It began 13.09 degrees north of the equator in Madras. From Madras, it took 100 hours for her to reach Antarctica via car, aeroplane, and Russian vessel called Akademik Sokolsky. In her journey, she crossed 9 time zones, 6 checkpoints, 3 bodies of water, and at least as many ecospheres. When she reached Antarctica, she felt quite relief to find white landscape around an uninterrupted blue horizon. She was even quite surprised by the fact that there was once a time when India and Antarctica were geographically connected. Next, the writer starts talking about part of history related with Antarctica. According to the writer, 650 million years ago, both India and Antarctica were in the same continent called Gondwana. The situation of that continent was quite different then. There were no humans at all. The climate of Gondwana continent was warmer, due to which varieties of flora plants and fauna animals were there. Gondwana continent flourished for 500 million years until the dinosaurs got extinct and human beings came into existence. After that, the supercontinent Gondwana divided into multiple parts. Antarctica only remained in Gondwana continent that moved towards the bottom of the earth in South Pole. Due to the high cold currents, Antarctica started changing into ice mass. From that period up to now, there is no record of human settlement in Antarctica due to extreme coldness. Later on, the writer starts talking about the importance of Antarctica continent. According to her, Antarctica is an integral part of our history. It is the right place to know about our history of origin, the present, and even the future. Antarctica is the best place to research and understand about mountain range, low elevation continents, ozone and carbon evolution and extinction. Antarctica is capable of providing the surprising insight of the future. To be there in Antarctica, it was quite different experience for her. She felt quite difficult to live there in Antarctica, not for herself but for anyone in such landscape where 90% of ice volumes are stored. For her, it is impossible to live in Antarctica in her imagination too. Due to its climate, this place is untouched as well as unhabituated up to now. According to the writer, the experience of Antarctica makes anyone forget about all the other things. There are no trees, billboards, buildings, etc. We can find small and big creatures living there as midges, mites, seals, penguins, white polar bears, blue whales, etc. There are so many big icebergs like countries. The southern summer light can be seen whole 24 hours here. Antarctica gets sunlight non-stop for 6 months, whereas it remains dark as well as lightless for 6 months. The main reason behind this is that our Earth revolves around the Sun for 12 months. The Earth is tilted at 23.5 degrees on its axis. That's why the South Pole faces the Sun for 6 months, whereas the North Pole faces the Sun for 6 months. There is silence everywhere, but this silence can be interrupted by avalanche or ice sheet breaking. According to the writer, human future in Antarctica isn't good. Later on, the writer starts talking about human impact. According to the writer, the human civilization on Earth started 12,000 years earlier. This time period is quite short in comparison of Earth history. This is quite short time period if we watch it in a geological clock. Within this short time period, human beings have created their dominance over nature by making villages, towns, cities, and megacities. Human beings are on the way of fighting with other species in the matter of using natural resources. Due to the excessive use of fossil fuels, human beings have created a blanket of carbon dioxide around the world. Due to this excessive carbon dioxide, the world's temperature is also increasing. The writer states that if we want to study and examine our planet's past, present, and future, we have to move to the right place, which is Antarctica. She has put forward two important facts related with Antarctica, saying that Antarctica is quite pure and untouched. 500,000 carbon records are trapped inside the layer of Antarctica. Due to the unwanted activities of human beings, most of the species are dying out. In the modern world, it is proved that the minor changes in atmosphere can cause huge effects. In the present time, human beings are burning out excessive fossil fuels. This excessive carbon dioxide plays very vital role in depletion of ozone layer. Now let me tell you a bit about ozone layer. Ozone layer is a sealed or deep layer in the stratosphere encircling the Earth that has large amount of ozone O3. This layer protects the Earth from ultraviolet rays that come out from the sun. Ozone layer is depleted through various substances that emit out from various factories or industries. These substances are halocarbons, refrigerant solvents, foam-blowing agents like chlorofluorocarbon, halogens, etc. The ultraviolet rays are quite harmful for our body that causes skin cancer, sunburn, cataracts, etc. Due to greenhouse, there is average temperature in Earth. Greenhouse maintains average warmth in the Earth, which is 49 degrees Fahrenheit or 15 degrees Celsius. But due to burning excessive fossil fuels, the carbon gases trap Earth's heat inside. Due to this, the rise in temperature is seen in Earth's average temperature that causes global warming and change in ecology. Due to the global warming, most of the glaciers of mountains, Himalayas, Antarctica continent started melting down and the sea level also rises up. Due to this imbalancement in sea level, most of the sea creatures die out. Due to global warming, the disasters like flooding, soil erosion, landslide, earthquakes, tsunami are seen here in this planet. The adverse effects on human beings, animals, plants, sea creatures are seen. The change in climate also brings a lot of problems for all the living beings. The writer says that minor changes in the atmosphere can cause huge effects. If global warming keeps on increasing, human race may be in peril. The writer gives example of effects of climate change. According to her, how minor changes in atmosphere can be threatening. The writer gives example of single-celled plants called phytoplanktons. These plants use sun energy to assimilate carbon and supply oxygen. Most of the species of Antarctica depend on these plants. Any further depletion of ozone layer may affect these plants, which indirectly affect the lives of marine animals. Here, students on an ICE program, the high school students got chance to learn how global warming can be a great threat for human existence. Professor Geoff Green only selected high school students in this program. According to him, high school students are future policy makers of their nations. They can help in saving our planet from ecological dangers and the effects of global warming in the future. Finally, the writer talks about thriller experience of walking on ice. While returning, the team found a big iceberg. Professor Geoff Green asked all the students to walk on that iceberg. While walking on that iceberg, all the students got surprised to know the fact that they were walking on a meter-thick ice plank under which there was a great ocean of 180 meters deep. Finally, the writer hoped that Antarctica would not become a warm place as it used to be millions of years ago. Now, I would like to present you some important questions and the answers which will help you in your examination. Thank you for watching this video. We'll meet again in my next video. Until then, bye bye. Take care and don't forget to subscribe and like my videos. Thank you very much.